Well, do you do Zoom often? Yeah. Well,
Sometimes, but not, it's probably been 6 months to a year somewhere. I have a couple clients that they're out of town and they love it. We'll cut stuff here and they just monitor it through Zoom.
yeah,
But after 6 months, I forget.
I understand. It's information you don't need to keep there. Yeah, I'm just noticing Zoom has all these new things over here. I'm like, what is going on? And I'm on every week, so I don't know what that is. There's all these little things they're putting. Wow.
Yeah, I upgraded. Well, I saw something today and I was like, you can only do 40 minutes as a basic member? Because I swear I've done longer than that before. But maybe
Well,
that's why it's connected.
well, I pay for mine because I use it for business.
So I did a free 30 days on Pro. So
Right,
just to
right.
make sure.
Yep. Okay. So we got Zoom out of the way, the
And
new way of life.
I was going to ask about recording, but I heard that is there?
It is recording. I usually record and I can send that to you.
Oh, awesome. That's fantastic.
I'll put it up as a private link, obviously,
Okay.
on
Yeah.
the YouTube channel, and then I'll just send you the link because that way, if you're not taking, you don't have to worry about taking all the notes. I
Yeah.
need that for
I'm
myself
terrible.
as well.
Yeah. I'm terrible at notes.
I know. And sometimes I talk to somebody and then they say something back and I'm like, what did we talk about exactly?
Oh,
Because I
yeah.
forgot one little thing. And so I like to have the recordings for myself too. So
That's great.
yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, so let's get you didn't send me anything, did you? Bullet points or
As for what?
bullet points or anything?
No, I just
Okay,
jotted
no
up
problem.
down. And if some of it you may be like, that's not my lane, and that's totally cool.
Yeah, sure. Okay, not a problem. Um, I just wanted to make sure because we've been having some trouble with our email server, but it's mostly us going out and it's mostly Gmail and Google. Our
Uh,
server got flagged and it's like a nightmare right now.
oh, oh
I know.
no, that's not good.
The world is it's just crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, well, my internet went down an hour ago, and I was like, really? Really?
Yes, and I was going to say that as well. I am in the Southern California. Are you familiar with California?
Yeah, I'm from there. Yeah.
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
Oh, you
I've
did
been
say
here
that.
but
I
yeah.
remember. You went
That's
to
okay.
Disneyland. We're Disneyland. We're Disney family is what we are.
I'm not a Disney adult, but I'm probably close.
Yeah, we let our passes go. I have a 5-year-old granddaughter. So she went to kindergarten last year and my daughter and I said, okay, it's time. But when I was at ABC, I think I mentioned that to you, I could walk them in for most of their
Right.
teenage years. So,
Yeah.
that's my daughter's happy place. That's where we like to go. So I still have friends there. I have one of the best friends there that walks us in every once in a while. And
Oh, that's awesome.
we're planning to get to all the Disneys all over the world eventually. So,
There's someone I follow on YouTube that I'm watching right now, and they're actually doing that.
yeah.
All parks, like all of them.
Well, if you go with the cast member, it's definitely affordable.
Yeah.
You don't.
I've become friends with I guess he's not guest relations, but he used to drive down Main Street in the cars. And he's
Oh,
he's in some kind of guest relations now or whatever. And it's to the point where he's like, well, let me know next time you're coming.
that's wonderful. I'm so glad you have that because we have the same with my friend. She retired a couple of years ago from ABC and she got her pass for life. So she is kind of bored. She didn't think she wanted to retire. So she's like, and she loves my granddaughter as well because she doesn't have her own. So yeah, it just worked out for us that we
Yeah,
somebody to help. So it's nice.
that's great.
And I'm like you, I'm sure we're all the same. I love going there. It's the one thing that hasn't changed much. It's changed some, but
Prices.
prices for sure. But
Yeah.
it's just nice to go somewhere.
I was just telling someone the other day even now when I walk through the park, it's like I'm looking through my 5-year-old eyes still.
Yeah,
I can. Some people can't do that. They're just like, no, this is too much.
right.
Like, no, rope drop.
I'm a big child. I'm the oldest in my family, but my sister and brother say that my sister came out an adult. She's 6 years younger than me. She helps me in the business, but she does all I do the creative side and she does all the other stuff. So it
Nice.
works
Yeah.
out well, but still, she still gets mad to this day. People think I'm younger than her. And I'm like, I'm just fun. I don't know what else to tell you. Okay.
Only as old as you act. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so hence, you have Disney. I was gonna bring it up again so I could see it. I think I have it open here, but
hmm
so how many songs did you have in there?
There's 9.
9. Okay. And you
Oh,
have not released it yet,
I haven't done anything.
right? Have you ever released on your own before anything else?
Not really. I mean, there's
Said,
been artists and some people you might even know from CCM and whatever, and we've done these side projects as just kind of to try to license stuff that look like a band and the whole thing. I've done stuff with other guys, but
right,
nothing under my name.
right. Some of my best friends in Nashville, by the way, are Hindalong, Steve. Steve Hindalong, he's a drummer. They're from the choir.
No, okay.
And Gary
Yeah.
Doherty, Mike Rowe is a friend of mine. I
That
was in,
sounds good.
okay, yeah, I was in 80s. I also know Ken Lewis. You must possibly know Ken. Okay.
Oh yeah, we've
Ken,
been
yeah,
longtime friends. He's played on stuff for me even before I moved here.
awesome. Okay. So quick story, just so we can get to it. We brought an artist back there in 2008.
hmm
Steve and Derry, my friends, hired Ken to come in and play.
Yeah.
And so I met him and I was working at ABC television, or I had been, and he started writing for that library where I was. So
Oh,
I,
okay. The Global Genius thing, is that
yes,
his
Global
him
Genius
and
was
Scott?
writing for our in-house library that I worked at ABC. So, and
I
it was
played on a
actually the funniest
song.
thing because I told him about it, but I wasn't working there at the time. And then I went back and there he was in the library and he was like, I just found them and reached out. And I'm like, wow, good for you. So when my
Yeah.
boss found out I knew him and the way I knew him, she was like, Dawn, do you know everybody? It's so weird. And I said, it's just a small world in this world. So,
Ken's,
um,
I love Ken.
yeah. So Ken and his partner in Global Genius, I've worked with them, but
Yeah.
the other guys I've been friends with since the 80s when we were doing Christian music. So,
Yeah.
um,
Told me
yeah,
about that. That's pretty awesome.
right. Lots of fun. And you have been doing that as well. And so,
I
and
was
got,
still a heathen in high school in California in the late 80s. It was, I graduated in 88, 89, something like that.
okay,
And then, but I didn't come out here till 2003.
got
And then
it.
I was in Northern California in Chico for 10 years. And one of my friends that's 3 miles from here, he's a big producer, mastering guy, mixer, all of that. We had a studio up in Chico for a long time. And
Okay.
he got married and he came out here about 7 years before I did and kind of exploded mid 90s, I guess. CCM was just like, everybody was working, and
Right.
he's worked with everyone. He still is. And so I moved out here with one of my best friends, the open door thing. So,
Nice. That's great.
I mean, I had a session on my second day. That doesn't happen.
Mm. Wow. Congratulations on that. Yeah. It's all about networking. We all know that.
I totally.
Um,
Yep. Yep.
that's what I
Yep.
talk about that a lot in my business. So,
I'm sure.
we just did we're music supervising now. So our screening was in LA on Monday. It's already out on Prime Amazon, but they won some awards and went. And my son and I co-wrote a song for the film, actually. We didn't
Nice.
we didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I was music supervisor and I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. But
Right.
we couldn't find a replacement song. So us and another of my artists wrote, and theirs got in the film, and then ours got in the opening credits, which is what we were going for. So to replace the Pixies. And
Oh wow. Yeah.
I just
Okay. Yeah.
couldn't find it. We got them, but it was just too expensive for the indie film we were working on. So anyway, long story short, we
Right,
just went there. I said to my son, you have to come. because you have to meet the producers and people, because I've met them, obviously I'm working with them, and
Yeah.
it was just so good for him to be there because they were ecstatic that the musicians were coming, from not just the actors and things. So just
Yeah.
another story of how networking helps. But okay,
Well,
so let's talk about, well, you start where you want and I'll ask questions because you've told me
well,
quite a bit, but
just, oh gosh.
I mean, I told you some of my ideas. Did you have a chance to go to M Vibe?
I did. I probably only went, I haven't had a ton of time since, but I went for 15, 20 minutes one night, kind of plucked around, and I typed in Disney and some of the stuff and listened to some stuff. And a lot of the stuff I heard were just like straight up literal sound alikes, I guess. Like
Right.
nothing changed, which I get. So I
Yeah.
guess when someone wants to license, it's cheaper that way to license a copy that, whatever Barbara Streisand didn't sing, but it sounds just
Right.
like, I heard a lot of that stuff. I heard a lot of instrumental stuff. And of course I'm like, I mean, some of it's not very good, but
No, it's very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
That's why I sent you there. Because I knew, because you know your project intuitively, and I just wanted you to kind of compare a little bit to see what was there. Not that M Vibe is the way to go, but that is one way to
Yeah.
go.
Are they exclusive? Like if they did take something on, is it you can still use your stuff other places and they're still, because I know I've done some things way in the past with some of the bands and duos that I've done where I think, you could give it to someone for 6 months or a year, but you were still able to do other stuff with it while they were doing that instead
Yeah.
of like, that's it. We have it for 6 months,
Right.
I mean, none of it matters.
I
was
have
just-
actually seen a contract from M Vibe because I have friends that went there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't remember if they are.
It's that whole like, can you still DistroKid it everywhere while trying to do things like that?
Right. Those are usually things you can do
Okay.
with those kinds of library. No, well, that kind of library, obviously not the production music libraries that you're used
Right.
to.
Totally.
But I do believe that there's the people that got the deal, theirs was up. And the people actually came to them because they were looking for a cover. It was, like an 80s metal, pop metal rock band. I can't even remember who it was, but they actually found them. So then they kind of went. So one thing I'm going to do after this is look that up.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've seen it, and I just got to remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yes, they might take it and not allow you to go to anybody else or do your own deals. So that would obviously be something you would want to consider.
Which is why I've been waiting to just DistroKid it. I'm like, I need to at least give this a valiant effort of, is there something before I just go, "Boom, here you go."
Right.
And get-
Let me say one thing on that. Are these all are these public domain?
I don't think any of them are. I tried
No.
to research some of that. I think the oldest one was Snow White, which was the first one. And I know some of the things are, but from what I saw, it was more the storyline can be retold. The music is still not.
Right. And I don't know a lot. Wouldn't you think I would know a lot about that at Disney? But that's it. That is not what we were doing there.
Right.
We're bringing in original. And so that would also be, I'm putting down some notes for myself. That's a quick, I have a friend who knows, he's the licenser for promo at ABC. And it's a quick email to him to just say, point me what is public domain in Disney's catalog?
My guess is none of the ones that I've done are. If I had to guess.
Right. Which isn't a problem.
Yeah.
I did want to know that. Do you, what PRO are you with again?
BMI.
BMI. Okay. Which is my favorite. That's good. We did ASCAP rate, lowered the rates while I was at ABC for
Uh,
several of my guys and me included. I had written some things for that catalog and everybody's went down about 70%. I don't know if you remember that, but it was in 2012 and people were freaking out. So because I was still at ABC, I had the lawyers there that could help us all move. It's a lot harder to move if you don't have those kind of people helping you. So we all moved our catalogs over to BMI. And as far as I know, they are
Oh.
still paying better on songs. So
Yeah.
what was my other? I'm going on a track here. Let's see.
Yeah.
Have you put anything up on DistroKid? Or obviously you probably haven't. Right.
Oh, actually, I haven't done that. I actually was looking the other day, and I think I need to up my account from the cheapest one to the middle one. So because there was some things you get, I think that I'd want.
Right.
Some of the things the basic one doesn't have, and it's
Right.
like dollars more a year. Like and you can, I think, have different names or bands or whatever.
Right. So
For a long time,
really,
probably have
like
30 cuts with people that share the DistroKid stuff. So I've had to have it.
oh, do you mean you have a group account or a label account? Is that
It's
what you-
I don't know, when I log in, it says bank at the top.
Yeah.
Write something with someone, they'll send me an email with a link that's my split, and it just like,
Got it. Yes.
and then it's there. Yeah.
Right. I do understand that, but believe it or not, when we first started putting our music out, we were going, this was in 2007 when when my sister and I first started our business. So we had we had a personal person who was putting it up on iTunes for us for,
Yeah.
and so I did
It was probably, yeah.
pardon.
I think we're cutting in and out a little bit.
Oh, we are. Don't know if that's me.
That's good.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
good.
good. So I'm fairly new to DistroKid too. I've just got one up there. We have a band name for who put the song in the thing, so we're writing two more, and we're just kind of experimenting to see how this goes because I've been in Zooms. I know what people do. I hear about Spotify for artists and all this stuff, but I haven't actually done it myself. Like,
well, yeah,
I
that's the
have
thing.
stuff out in the world.
Yeah, they're always the ones doing it, even if I'm involved in this. So I've gone through it. I've got all this. I've browsed. I'm like, okay, this all seems pretty straightforward. It seems pretty easy, but
Right. Now, what would you put as your genre for these?
that's a good question, because classical is not, they won't allow you to put that, even though it's not really that. The only thing I could find was like pop, which it really is, but isn't. I don't know. It's got current sounds and stuff in it, but it's pretty laid back. So that's the one. Not sure. I thought I'd ask a couple friends what they thought.
Right. And I did notice when I uploaded ours, their genres are very limited.
Yeah.
I have not put up a bio for us, but one thing I would do is make sure you put kids in, even though it's not.
Okay. Yeah, right.
It's still Disney. So somewhere, and if I wish I knew where exactly the best place would be, but it could even be in the bio where you're not really saying that it's kids music, but you're talking about Disney, and you could put some things in. Very personal things. I love Disney as a child, and I've been going there for years, and try to
characters they give you, if there's a limit, but I don't know if you saw the PDF that was in there with the MP3s. And I was going to try to just put that whole thing in there for the bio.
Okay. I did not look at your bio. Oh, you mean it was just something you wrote out about it?
It was, yeah, where the link was, where the songs were, there was the 9 songs and then one PDF file that was in there.
Okay. You don't mind if I go look at that as well?
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I put it in there. It's just kind of why I did the record / pitch, whatever you want.
Right. So at this point, first of all, tonight, I'm going to look up MVibe and make sure, even though I know my friends already had it on DistroKid, and I don't think that's going to be an issue. So if I were you, I would go forward with putting it up unless you were planning, you've already been in the production music library world. So
Mhm.
tell me how you feel. Well, maybe some of those don't take covers. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, most of the stuff I've done was with, I was telling you, with Warner Chappell, with the
Right.
vice president of production there. I can actually, I told you, him and I were supposed to go to lunch a couple, and I've been kind of putting it off. I wanted to talk to you first, just to, he's heard it. He said, we'll talk about it, if you want, briefly,
Right.
but
I
I was,
think,
I was going to read you what he told me. Cause one thing I don't really understand, he gave me two quick things, and I know this is like probably totally your lane.
yeah,
Just, but it was something, I had told him a lot of people are saying the Disney cruise ships and the parks, and everybody who's hearing it is like, oh, it makes me feel like I'm in the park again. It's not a pop record. I get that. I know it's not like radio, like whatever. So, which I've loved hearing that, parades, commercial. And he had said, getting the music placed in any public venue of any kind, sync placements are large because the publisher would have to license their side first before you could license your new master. I can't imagine a spa or cruise ship being able to afford that kind of fee. And then the other thing he said that I get, the other side is offering the new masters to the publisher to try to place if they wanted, which is what I've done before, but I didn't initiate it. They did. So
yes,
albums
yes.
where I do 10 or 12 rock guitar instrumental tracks that are at least 2.5 minutes long, and
Mhm.
he gives me some comments and whatever. He never has me change anything. I do all the production, play all the guitars, turn it back in, but there's a budget per song too.
Yep. They pay
So
you for each one.
yeah, and
Right.
it's not changing, and then I own 100% of songwriting, but they own all the publishing.
All the publishing, right. That's how our deal was at ABC. Um,
Okay.
the same. We
Mhm.
paid well for instrumentals or songs, but the thing about us was we were definitely placing it, and that everybody got
Oh,
every, you know.
see,
So
there was a key word in there that offer the new masters. I'm like, okay, well that offer means free to me. He maybe just put that, and it's like, I don't know if I'd want someone to take it for free when I know that they pay budgets for other. It's like they're not gonna push that if they didn't have to kick out, $14,000 for me to
right.
do it.
So this is your guy from Warner you're gonna meet with.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
But
So
I don't know where it's gonna go, and I don't want to bite the hand that feeds me. I'm gonna talk about it for a minute, and then because he gives me a lot of other work.
I understand exactly. I get it. Um, but anything he can tell you, so obviously they're not interested in doing these Disney covers. He's talking about other companies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't really say. It was just kind of.
Okay. All right. Because here's what I would say about that. And that's one reason I mentioned MVibe, because everybody goes to MVibe for this kind of music.
Oh, I gotcha.
Everybody in the industry knows they have all the covers. This is
Oh,
where you go.
interesting.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, that's just all the music soups go there if they want to cover, they want to check things out. So
gotcha.
that is why a library like that would be a good place. But as I said, are there 10 of the one you did? Is yours different? And yours
I,
was on the few that I heard.
yeah, yeah.
And that's where you're going to be ahead of the game, because most people are going to make it a lot more um poppy and happy. You know what I'm saying?
There's
Just,
a lot that Disney market's flooded with that stuff.
of
I
course
call
it
it
is. Yeah,
cheese cutter Disney stuff.
right. So in that way, I felt like this is different enough and more adult, if you will, to
Totally.
where I feel like somebody may be like, hey, we've had requests for that before, but we don't have anybody doing it. So
Hmm.
I just feel like there could be some spots for it somewhere. Um, the DistroKid, putting it up, you know, I believe you can also take it down. Like if you
Yeah,
decide to go with
that was
somebody else.
questions too. Was like, if someone wants to license one song, do you? Because I've read stories where if you have to make a change in DistroKid, you've got to pull the whole thing down and then redo everything.
Yes. Okay, let me tell you one thing about DistroKid that I do know. If you would put these things up, not as a full album, but as a single, put one out, and even if you
Uh,
do one in a week,
mhm.
put it as a single, but every time you do, you can be building an album, but you can leave the single as well,
Oh,
if that makes sense.
can you group them at some point and actually make it a? I didn't think you could do that.
Group
Like,
it later. Okay, here's how this works. The thing that you have to make sure of is you use the same ISRC code,
mm,
the recording code that DistroKid will give you.
okay,
Then you go, okay, so say you release one of them. There's your single. There's more coming, in a week, there's going to be two. You
right.
release the next one as you take that ISRC code of that one and release it with that second one, or just release it as a single. And you could do all of them as singles. And then later you could take all those ISRC codes and put an album together,
Okay.
if
Yeah,
that
okay.
makes sense. And then you could, because the ISRC code is tracking your plays, even if you take that single down,
Hmm.
it's gonna stay within the album because it's the
Okay.
same identifier, if that makes sense.
So when all 9 wind up going up, you leave them up there for a little bit, and then you essentially at the same time kind of you pull those down, but upload that full album.
Right. And here's another thing on that.
People who have downloaded or saved it or whatever don't lose it if I put it back up as an album.
No, they do not. That's
Ah,
the thing, because that ISRC code is the main qualifier. Even if you take that single down, it's going to maintain all the plays. It's going to maintain everybody who downloaded. It's not going to change anything for them.
no matter
So
where.
beautiful on Spotify and DistroKid for making that happen,
Right.
because that was always a thing for me where I was like, what if you want to change things? Or so another thing, the webinar that I saw that was talking about this, just as far as your artwork, you can, if you don't want that to be changing for people and them to be confused, you
Right.
can start with one piece of artwork and just know this is what I'm going to do. Or on that single artwork, just add the name each time.
Funny
But
because we have that, and that was it was a question you probably don't even know, but the Disney lawyers scare me.
yes,
So, like, but I've seen worse offenders in artwork that are up there where I'm like, well, that's like just straight up a drawing of the castle and it's still up there. And I'm like all worried about because I've got this kind of castle on the front. And I'm like, are they
yeah,
gonna go, that's a castle, that's us, take it down.
right. I
Now
understand.
that
I
9
know a
time,
lot of these lawyers and they scare me too. So, because if they
I
get
went rabbit hole and was like, ugh.
right, if you're seeing others that have it, and that would probably be a question for my sister because she knows a lot more about copyright and things like that.
It's pretty
But
popular. I don't remember play wise. It was, 30, 50,000 a song or something. Good Night Walt. And everybody I know, they're like, oh, I know that one. And the cover is just this like straight up drawing of it. Looks like the castle in Germany, but that's what they modeled their castle after. And,
well, I will say
every
this.
time.
People can get confused very easily. And if you have something that is similar
Yeah.
without crossing a line, it is going to be good. That's why I mentioned kids, because I do have a 5-year-old and I have been on Spotify with her and she now can find it all by herself, but
Right.
she'll go find those things. And
Mm,
even if it is a little sophisticated, she might be like, oh, I kind of like this, because she's into music and those kinds of things. So I
yeah.
feel like it just helps for more people to find you. But I
Right.
don't know enough about playlisting to talk much more about that yet. I'm hoping to learn more. I
Gotcha.
have a gentleman working
Questions too.
with me who has a course or some way that he helps you
Hmm.
do all that. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's one of the questions is trying because I know that's the deal, getting on playlists and how do you get on a Disney official playlist and all that.
right.
Yeah.
I will also send you you know who Ari's Take is?
Why does that sound familiar too?
He wrote a book in the industry and he has a podcast. And one of the places I heard a lot about this was a podcast he did at
Oh,
South by Southwest. So I'm writing that down.
okay. Yeah.
That you can go listen to, that I listen to, as well as going to another webinar about it. But so send link to Ari's. It was recently put up there, but he's got a lot of information about playlists and things like that. It's about an hour, I think.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
So, okay, so back to, here's what I think that we should do. We should probably just do the half hour today. When is your meeting with your, and we're gonna do 15 more minutes because we talked early on. When is your meeting with a friend?
I'm not in a hurry, and if you have to go, that's fine.
Yeah.
We don't have it. We were supposed to do it towards the end of June, so I just need to hit him up again.
Right.
Both our Junes. His June was slammed. He said it. We can put something in the books, but it's probably going to get canceled. So, and I know I'm supposed to do a big project for him in the next probably week or two. So, I can send him an email this evening too.
Well, yeah, no, you don't have to do it right away, but I mean, if you want to get, first of all, I'm going to find out MVibes contract, make sure, just let you know if it's exclusive, not exclusive, whatever it is, I need to know anyway. And it's been a while since I've checked. I'll send you the link for South by Southwest, the guy who tells about uploading to DistroKid. And back to what your friend was telling you about the masters. I don't know if I fully went through that.
Yeah.
Right. He is right about those songs being very expensive.
Totally.
For sync. I mean, I'm saying they're expensive, but I don't know personally because I haven't ever done a deal like that. And even me being there, I wasn't working on that side, but just assuming they're going to be expensive. You don't really hear them a lot, but, and that's one reason, the thing that you were thinking about cruises and different places where it could work. I also do know, let me think. Disney, I was involved in this when I was there. We were licensing for like the kiosks at Disneyland where there's things playing. And here's what I want to say. If Disney is interested, they will own the master.
Right.
They're not gonna sync it from you. They're gonna do a deal.
Totally. And that's what I've done with Warner. They own it at that point.
Right. But
fix it. I just do all the production and I give it to them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like
I know Disney has a lot of in-house stuff they do too. And I know people in Nashville here that have a lot of those accounts, vocal stuff. They sing in all the fireworks shows and,
got it. Yeah.
And I think that's part of it too. And he probably knows that. Mark Heimerman, did you know either of the Heimermans? He's here in Nashville and he does, pretty much all the music you hear, Fantasmic, all that stuff all over the world. He's contracted, cutting strings and doing he does all of that stuff. And then there's a couple other people I know that have a company here and they're kind of in charge of all the singers and background singers, and it's not their gig, but they get contracted, I guess, to do all the vocals for these big Disney things,
Got it.
Castle and all that. So,
yeah.
But, it's like, well, they probably have their own in-house, like making music for the spa and all that kind of stuff too, if I had to guess.
Sometimes, other times not.
I have a friend who's actually a piano player in the Grand California, and she's been there a long time. And she's the one who told me, she goes, they pretty much do everything in-house.
Right.
Surprised when I even told her about the people here in Nashville. She's like, really? Oh, I didn't know that. She she started bringing up names. And if you talk to someone, I'm like, I don't know who that is. We're all like in-house production people that do a lot of the Disney stuff, I guess.
She was giving you names that
Yeah, I don't remember who they were.
would she give them to you again? Um,
I mean, sure. I talk to her all the time.
yeah, I would say, who was it you were talking to? And just basically say that you are talking to somebody who used to work there. And I
Mhm.
did know some people over on the Disney side, because we were, like I said, the kiosk thing, they were doing a lot of covers of their songs, obviously, for the kiosk, but they also wanted some of our stuff that was just
Mm,
kind of background and just mellow, but kind of sounded Disney-ish, but not, because they knew that they could get it for free from us because
right.
we were in-house. So I saw those deals going by, so I did know. And in that case, yes. But as you said about what she said, that's a surprise to me too, that Nashville is doing a lot of this, because I
Mhm.
do know singers out here who are also singing in
I-
Disney productions, you know?
there's
So
like
I
Disney.
think there's just so much going on in Disney. And
Yeah.
that's one thing I did want to tell you. It it's not a no-go, because there's
Mhm.
so many departments and so many people doing different things that
Totally.
if
Yeah.
somebody hears your stuff and they go, oh my gosh, this is what we've been looking for. Why hasn't anybody else done it this way? Then
Mhm.
obviously you have interest, you have somebody to talk to, and you have somebody to do a deal with, so
Right.
whether you decide you want to do it or not. But
Right.
um at the end of the day, the one thing I do know, and I know you know this too, is when you are in a library, that you're getting paid, because
Right.
if they're buying that out, they're going to be placing it. And
Right.
that's why they're coming to you.
That was one of the other questions too I had was like the Warner thing that I've always done. They take all the publishing, I get songwriting because I created these pieces. Um, these obviously I didn't write. So if I did something, say, with them, like I've never done that. I don't know how it works. Like they obviously can't take 100% of publishing because it's like I have nothing. Like I don't.
If right, you mean if a Disney was doing it, or anybody?
Or Warner or anybody, your library, like whatever. Like I don't get any songwriting, but I'm also not going to get 100% of the publishing because I did the track. So I guess they work splits or something. I don't know, or percentages, or would take
Yeah,
80, 20. Like I have no idea.
right. I don't either know about that specifically, but I do know with public domain, and that's because it's public domain, they do
Mm.
give you a percentage
Oh, okay, yeah.
as a writer.
Oh, right. Well, that's the other thing too. Someone said to ask about. There's not every song. I mean, they're my arrangements of these songs, but there are also sections of the song and turns that had nothing to do with their Disney song. They're pieces that I created. It's a little bit of
Did
me.
hear that a few times.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't care. I know you can't copyright chords, so I don't know really.
So
That's
that,
even something that
right, what they call that is usually a derivative work,
Hmm,
because you're doing the cover, but you're going off and you're adding more things
yeah, right.
to the cover. Now,
Such a small amount, like I just didn't know if it was
right.
something to worry about right now. I don't
If
know.
it's a very small portion of the song, it's probably not going to matter, because
Mm,
these songs are so recognizable, and there's,
yeah, they're
I
quick.
heard a couple diversions like that, but
There's probably nothing that's more than 4 or 8 bars.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Um I deal with that. I work for an artist as well, so he does
Ah,
a lot of covers with some of his some of the published bands that he's trying to put out and stuff. So
gotcha.
um I'm asking these questions a lot from Sony, different places, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
song
Yeah.
he's doing, do you consider this a derivative or a cover? And most
Uh,
of the times, even if there's a rap in it, say,
right.
but
Right.
rapping the actual lyric, but they change the way it is, they're like,
Mhm,
no, this is the song, just go ahead, it's a cover.
right.
So
Yeah.
a lot of times they don't even want to mess with that because
Right.
it's legal stuff and it's all this stuff they have to do. So,
I can imagine even the song that has the most of me, I guess, in it wouldn't even be more than 10% of the song. So,
okay.
you know,
Okay.
they're pretty small. Just usually it's like a turn from a chorus back to a verse,
Right.
or an intro. It's hinted in there, but so's the melody usually too.
Right.
I just wanted to bring that up because I didn't know if I've never had to deal with that before ever. So
Right. So what you're saying, I'm going to think this through. What you were saying about if it went into, obviously, if it goes into M Vibe in their contract, there's something going on where you are going to get paid, um, either upfront or when it goes out, and or both. So that
Mhm.
is what I'm going to look back into. I may reach out to my friends who put theirs there and see if they've had anything and how that worked, because as I said, I'm interested to know the answers to these questions too.
Yeah,
Um, um, because it gets very complicated when it's a cover as far as what they're going to pay.
yeah.
Um, so, which brings me to this. Are you tracking your music, let's say on Sound Exchange, anything you've played on? No?
Mm, what,
Uh,
what you mean? I'm
let
not
me see.
sure.
Yeah, let me see. Have you been um have you been a performer that's named in the credits?
Oh,
On
on albums for guitar
Yes.
playing or any kind of
Yes.
editing. Yeah. Definitely.
And how many years have you been doing that?
Since I've been here, 20.
Okay.
Probably some, even a little bit here and there from California, even with people I knew here, a little bit. So, yeah,
Okay.
like
Okay.
like it's not all up there, but all music and some of those websites,
Yes.
there'll be some stuff.
Right. And these are things that are going on to radio
Yeah,
and
yeah.
things like that.
Jack Vasquez and like some of the big CCM, Point of Grace, and like all.
Oh, got it. Point of Grace. My goodness, my brother-in-law who passed away in 2007
Oh,
was working with them.
oh,
Engineer
what was his name?
Dave Jansen.
That sounds
And
familiar. I don't know if I knew
so
Dave
when
Jan.
did you go to Nashville?
2003.
Okay. It was before that. They were there. My sister and him were there in the 90s. He passed in 2007. They came back out here. They were working with Rick Elias. I'm just going to throw names because
Mhm. Yeah.
um, Reggie Ham. Do you know Reggie?
One of the albums I told you I've done was me, Reggie, my friend Kent, and Scott Crepane, the four of us under a band name. I've
Gosh.
done pretty much every recording he's done in the last 10 or 15 years.
I owe him a phone call right now.
I
Um,
went on tour with him. I played shows with him. Oh
oh
yeah,
my gosh. We've
I love
known Reggie forever. So
Reggie. Scott Crepane are my favorite two songwriters in Nashville.
yeah.
I love those
Well,
guys. Scott.
so my brother-in-law worked on That Thing You Do
Okay, yeah,
as well. Scott was in there,
yep.
wasn't he?
I
Yes.
think
Okay. See, it's such
that's
a small world in this
Paw
industry.
Patrol. Scott wrote Paw Patrol. That's the big one now.
Wow. My
Yeah,
goodness.
that's a
I need
pretty
to
good.
step up my game too, when I hear about these kind of guys. Wow. Okay. Um, one of the things I have been talking to my son about getting into is children's music, because Sound Exchange is what I just mentioned to you. I have an artist who's a children's artist and she makes money there
Yeah.
from all the play that she gets. And children's music is sometimes a lot. So
So
that's
I
one
was.
reason I wanted to tell you, if you're putting it up,
Mhm.
make sure
Kids
you're
somewhere. Yeah. I
or
don't remember. I'm sure it was. It was weird in DistroKid when you're going to do everything. There's two, like, what's your main genre? And then there's like a secondary one. So it lets you,
yes.
the secondary one will change depending on what you picked in the first one. So I was kind of playing with its little algorithm, and it won't even let you select classical. And I'm sure Kids was probably there. But
right.
would I select that as the first one
I,
or pop? I feel like I don't know.
so if you picked pop, you don't think kids is gonna come up?
I don't know. I would think it would because there's pop kid stuff, but
Right.
that seems
I don't
very
know. I just wanted to make sure that I told you that I think that's important
yeah.
for many
Well, you were
reasons.
bio to put kids, but is that if it's in the bio, is that some kind of algorithm that will get it to even
And
in the
that's what I don't know. That's why I said, I'm not sure where
Mm,
they're pulling from.
gotcha,
Um,
gotcha.
Gnosis. I'm gonna put, I told you about some of the things that we do. We have some workshops and things, and I think I might pull this guy in who I've been working with, who might do a workshop for us, but it might not be before you're ready to go.
Oh,
That might tell us some more things about that, because, or if I talk to him soon, I will ask him, because I had questions about that when I put my own up. It was like, and I'm sure he does know where it all pulls from, and it would be very good information for my clients where, what do you call that? It's the algorithm that's pulling, it's like metadata, but it
oh yeah, yeah, right. That's the word.
Spotify, best place to put, I'm just putting notes for myself. Put important keywords is really what I want to know.
Mm,
Yeah. So,
just glancing through my questions, we've answered a lot of them.
we have already right now. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep going through and see.
I'm checking them all off. Yeah.
So what I was going to say is,
Hmm.
maybe after this, um, you go off and do your meeting with your guy, you start uploading to DistroKid.
So you think that I should do that because I can't imagine. I I just have a gut feeling there's probably not going to be anything there. But we've known each other a long time. He'll probably give me some words of advice, if anything. And that's if he wants to do more than that, that's great. But I don't know. Just by the email he already sent, I was kind of like, well, okay.
Right. Yeah.
I'm
It
loving this, to be honest. This is
yeah,
like,
well, thank you. But yeah, it's the covers can be tricky for, and if they're this well known, that's
right.
probably what he knows at Warner, they're probably not gonna
Yeah,
go do a deal like that.
I've
And it's
never cover stuff for him. It's either national news music that I play guitar on all the time for whatever station in whatever state, and I play all the lead lines and do there's tons of that stuff, and then instrumental rock guitar kind of
right,
things, original. So
right. And are those making it on television shows or still
Mhm.
at,
yeah,
yes,
I see these multiple pages of my stuff I get from um, BMI, or I
all
see them
kinds
all.
of shows, right?
Sporting events. I saw a couple that were on Judge Judy. I don't know why, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
We,
there's
yeah, my son and I have one that went to World News Tonight with David Muir because it was in ABC.
mm,
And I I usually have a 10 or 20%. I started helping him because I'm a keyboardist at the beginning, and then he doesn't really use me anymore.
yeah.
He has his own studio and all the stuff he does. But
Uh,
so I get royalties on some of his earlier stuff when he started writing for our library. He's 32 now. He started when he was 18. So he's been there quite a while. They shut our library down in 2018. So that's why I left.
it's
They still have the music and they're still utilizing it, but they're not making anything new. They waited for us to build a library and then said, see ya, because
uh,
Fox was coming in. So, that's just how it goes.
yeah,
But anyway, we both get them. They go into our bank account before we see statements. And mine was usually, very small amounts, like
yeah,
500 times 600 every three, because I'm doing 10
yeah,
percenters. His are in the thousands, but
right.
um, he, I said, wait a minute, I just looked at my back end check. It's like a lot. And I mean, like 1,500, 2,000
Yeah.
for a quarter.
Yeah.
And I said, did you get yours yet? And he goes, no. Why do you think that is? I said, I have no idea. And then when the statement came in, we saw World News Tonight. And even though it's just a background and it's just I think
Yeah.
it's instrumental because of where that one sits, and it's prime time, and it's a huge,
How
payments
long?
was-
Yeah.
yeah. So, you never know when you're going to be surprised. I tell people this
Yeah.
all the time with production music libraries. If you're a prolific writer who can write like that, it is worth your time. So,
Yeah, there's probably been hundreds of placements, honestly, on even just there was one that was 12 songs that we did, hundreds, but they're, 2 cents, 3 cents, they're whatever. I don't know.
right.
All over the world, Mexico, Venezuela, like, I mean, more countries than I could even name right now.
Right.
They're just these little, I don't know, sporting events, soccer matches, boxing matches. Just probably little promos on TV, their commercials. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Judge Judy ones were like, I don't know, they were like $300 or $400 a pop or something, which I don't know why.
Right. Are you the single writer on those?
It was 50-50 on that one.
It was, but you're still getting the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's probably, Judge Judy is a popular show. Is it on
cable
now?
I think it was only, I don't know how many plays it was. I think it was just the one. I don't really know. I get down and find the episode because I saw a number and it was 5,000 something, which makes sense. She's probably done 5,000 shows.
Right. Right.
I couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, one other thing, what was I thinking of when you were talking about that? Okay, so I mentioned Sound Exchange to you. There's also AFM, who has AFM SAG AFTRA Fund. Do you know about that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. There's this is different than your production music because you're a writer there, you don't own the masters, and I know on these other things you don't either, but these are places that you can go chase money to see if you have any for being a performer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you probably heard some of the guys in Nashville talk about this. I don't know if they're all doing it. They should be probably, but
Someone gave me a website a long time ago to check to see if you had something overseas, I guess, that you played on, because they pay musicians that were on records.
Yes.
I think. Royalties, I guess.
Yes, they call those neighboring rights.
Yeah.
All around the world, and we don't get them in the US. But now there are different things going on. The newest one is the MLC, the Mechanical Licensing Collective, that is collecting for some other things as well. So the US is trying to write this and make more royalties going out to performers and people that are playing on records and things like that. It's slow, and our royalties are even supposed to be increasing on streaming, but we'll believe that when we see it. It's slowly happening where we're seeing them on the statements, but they're so small. But all of that is kind of a work in progress. So what I wanted to tell you is, I think I did tell you in one of the emails, I have a guy who's in Canada that I work with, but he does workshops on this. So I asked, he knows about all the US things. So we're going to do a workshop with my sister there and him at A Matter of Music. It'll probably be an hour. I usually do them at 11 o'clock on Wednesdays when we do them. So I'll try to make sure that I put you on there when we do that.
Cool.
So that you can come in and hear what we all have to say about that and how to go sign up and those kinds of things.
Yeah, totally.
But I want to make sure you knew about that because it's a completely different animal than the production music library, how that you're getting paid on the back end.
Okay.
So otherwise, yeah.
I had just one question or something we did talk about, and it was the codes. I forget. I'll have this, but the DistroKid, the code per song, or what did you call it?
Yes, that is an ISRC code.
ISRC.
That's an international standard recording code. It's for the recording. There is also an ISWC, not to be confused, because that covers the ISRC covers the actual recording of the song. That's why the R is there.
Okay.
The
Okay.
W handles the publishing side and the composition.
Okay. Okay.
But the ISRC is definitely, and when I send you the link to this guy who's telling you how to do playlists, he goes over this
Mhm.
quite a bit.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Great.
You'll hear him talk about it. So when you upload to DistroKid, there's a certain place where they're going to give you that code. And the next time you upload, if you put the same song on a
I think it's chugging again on the video. I think it's kind of frozen a little. Oh, there it is. Wait. Yeah.
hello, hello,
Okay. Good.
hello.
It was just kind of like nothing.
I know. What I have to say is I began to say, were you from California? Then I remembered. We live in the like Crestline, Lake Arrowhead area, mountains.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm living with my parents now because they're 80 and 83. They have a big retreat house up here for missionary kids. They do retreats. So my sister and I both live here because it's a 3,500 square foot house. And
Great.
when I got laid off from ABC, I was living with roommates and I was like, nope, I'm not going to live in here anymore. It's too expensive. So,
Yeah.
but today our electric went out with the internet. So I'm down there with my nephew going, okay, what do I do if I'm in the Zoom? Oh, I'll just use my phone, use that internet. But anyway,
I was charging my phone just in case.
right. I know, crazy. So what you wanted to know was about the ISRC code. Did you have any other questions down?
So do they give you that after everything's uploaded, or it'll show it as each song you enter, it just gives it to you then?
I think you're going to see it. I didn't see it when I uploaded our song. I think I'm going to see it and I have to go look there because ours just went up on Sunday. I need to go into Spotify for artists.
Uh-huh.
I think that might be, but it seems like it would be in DistroKid as well.
Yeah.
And I remember even in this webinar, I think he said something specific about where you would find it.
Okay. And then there's a place to put it, or I guess
they're going to handle that.
Okay.
But here's the thing. As you put up all this stuff, if you have a spreadsheet or anything about your songs, make sure you put those ISRC codes in there.
Okay.
Because they're also good for what I was just talking about, sound exchange.
Okay.
If your music starts getting out and somebody's playing it and streaming it, if you have it in those places, it's very easy for them to track for you.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you get into wanting to see if you're going to be paid any royalties there.
Yeah. So fast forward down. Okay. I did 9 singles. I pull them down. I'm going to do this album. So when I'm uploading that one, is there a place to say, do you have an IR code for this? And you put it in, and that's
right. Right. I
know
believe
whether-
that's how it works. So as I just said,
that's what I was guessing. I just wasn't
right.
sure.
I'm guessing that too. But as I just said, when I send this link, when I send the link, his name is Ari Herstad. He's written a book, How to Make It in the New Music Business. And he released that book and now he's a superstar. So he has a whole company and he does podcasts and all of this stuff. But and quite honestly, we go to him a lot because he has staff doing all of his research. So I bet I could even go there and find a whole thing about MVibe too. So sometimes it's just easier. You know what I mean? I'm like,
oh, I do.
I tell my sister, if we ever meet the guy, we need to tell him, you know what? Thank you for putting all your stuff up because we appreciate. But
I do it all the time. If I have to learn a song for someone or church or something on a Sunday, I'll just go to YouTube and watch some kid teach it to me in like 10 seconds. I can figure it out, but it's faster that way.
It is faster, isn't it? I know. Same here. Same here. So what I was going to say is when I send you this link where Ari talks about playlists and Spotify, I'll put a note there. Listen for the ISRC part because he'll tell you that. He goes through it and there was so much information in there. that I did glean a lot from it, but I have to go back and be like, okay, what did you say to do now that my song's up, and all these different things. So,
Right.
because we literally, I have no idea how to tell people that this music is there, except that I posted on Instagram and I put it there because we got pictures with the director and the producer, and I wanted them to see, hey, here it is. So we're
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
getting some plays from that, but it's not my marketing is not my specialty. Not yet.
My- I was just gonna say, after all, I mean, that's the decision I guess I need to make right now, because I've been waiting to put this thing out, and it's like, well, now I have this whole new like, oh, should I just do one song at a time? And that, 'cause that's such a great idea, but then I'm looking, going, that's like times 9 promotion on social media and everything for me,
Is.
and 9 different album covers, and I'm stressing over one right now.
But as I said a minute ago, maybe it's not that many album covers. Maybe it's the same one every time. And
Oh, yeah, I guess you could do that, huh?
he talks about this too, because then it looks like, oh my gosh, look at what they're doing. They've got this Disney thing. It's different than you actually putting out, something of your own original. I don't know. It just seems like it would be okay to do that.
I
The
got to
same-
this place where the whole 9, I've got the title, artwork, I've got like everything to do that. So now it's kind of like, oh, I need to like figure out.
And you know what we did for artwork? We used Canva.
That's my neighbor's actually,
Okay.
she wound up doing the cover for me, and that's what she used. And it doesn't, you never know. It looks great. It looks
Yeah.
awesome. Very simple.
We
and I-
used a photo
I-
that somebody took and added things in. So
It's all drawing too. So it's, and sparkles and whatever, all these Disney looking things and whatever, that.
right.
But,
Right. I feel like, just like my children's artists, that the Disney stuff you might get some plays and get on some playlists, and then you're like, whoa, what
Right.
happened? Because
I'll quit-
Spotify does send that, DistroKid sends it out to,
Oh, yeah.
if you release 3 to 4 weeks ahead, something like that.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
go and you put it in, and then you say my release date is this.
right.
It gives them time to do some of their work. So
Yeah, which I would do the same thing even if I did release them all and did a whole package thing. I figured I'd give myself a month to start doing social media and promoting and
right.
putting videos out, which is a whole nother ball game. It's like, I don't have the licenses yet. So how do you promote something ahead of on social media?
Right. Do you
Like if I-
mean because of the
Stories,
covers, and
yeah.
DistroKid is going to get those for you, correct?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's all, you tell
It's
them
all
it's
there. Yes.
sign up thing, and they admin, I think, was like $11 a year per song or something like that. They just do
Right.
everything. Yeah.
Right. Right.
And I don't think there should be any hiccups. I found every one of these songs on Spotify. Not that they use DistroKid, but they all seem like I did a covers record with someone one time, totally unrelated to Disney, and there was one song. It was a Bruce Springsteen song that Harry Fox. No. So we had to go down, or my partner I did it with went down some rabbit hole, wound up being for whatever. We did albums, vinyl, all this stuff, like $200 or $300 for the one song, when all the rest of them total were like $60 or something.
Wow. Wow.
So we finally got it, but I don't think there'll be any kind of those hiccups with this. They've been done so many times.
right. Right. I
birthday
think it's just easy
part-
to license. Right.
Tea
Um,
Party, I think, is the one that is, I can't find a lot of versions of that song. They're out there, but that makes me kind of, and everyone is like, that's the one they're like, and it's the only up song. All the rest of them are pretty mellow.
Yeah.
And they're like, people go kind of crazy over that one. Like, oh, I wish I did 8 more of those, but now I know.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, on the face of this planet, there's not a version like that. Not saying it's great, good or bad, but there's not a version like that anywhere.
Yeah. Well, and that's the last thing I want to say, because I do sync licensing as well. It's not a no-go that you wouldn't get a placement on something like that, because it's different. I have
Mhm.
one guy that writes covers that I take everything he does into my library. And right now we're kind of on hold because of writer strike and all of that stuff going on. But because he does like the Turtles from the 60s. He did a Bruce Springsteen song, and it should be in a horror film the way he does it. He has this weird voice, and when he does these songs, you hear the lyrics differently. Like he sounds almost like a scary dude who should not be singing about that, if that makes sense. But I'm like, nobody does versions like you do. And so I've told him, if I can get those out there and somebody hears it, because as you know, if you watch TV at all, covers are all over the place. They use them in promos. Even a Disney is not a no-go.
Right.
Except my ABC guy is going to be able to tell me how much of a no-go that is or not.
Yeah.
My friend there.
I hear it. People have said like Electric Light Parade 2023. And I'm like, oh, I kind of actually hear that because it's very electronic with 30 tracks of guitar. That one's very guitar heavy. And then I'm like, oh, one of those goofy, fun little, not Disney Plus, but Disney Channel kids teenager show type. I could totally see it placed in something like that.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll stay in touch by email. I'm going to send you a couple of these things. Once I check back into MVibe again with my friend. And then, if you at some point want to jump back in or come to one of our Q&As and ask a question, I mean, there's a few people there. Sometimes there's 5, sometimes there's 15. I never know how many people are coming into these things, but sometimes some of the subject matters are things that everybody needs to know. So that's how we do it. We'll do like 4 questions and we'll go over everything to give everybody more info. So, there's all kinds of ways that I can help you more in the future. So
totally. Yeah. I'd be totally interested in that. And maybe even once down the road, we can do this again. And I totally want to pay you at least for the hour, not half hour. Like that's crazy. Or whatever.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. I watched the clock, and you and I we have mutual friends, and I knew I was going to do that because anytime I'm talking to somebody from Nashville, I know that they're going to know people I know. It's just,
I need to find a way to send you or get you I know we have tons. I have a closet full of CDs, those things you used to play like in your car.
Yes, I do.
No, me and Reggie, it was a band called Temporary Celebrity. I need to send you that because it never did anything. We just talked with one of the other guys and we're going to re-upload it to DistroKid because when we did it, there was no DistroKid. There wasn't streaming. And there's no age to this thing. It's like I think there's 8 songs. And Reggie's, we all wrote them. We all took turns singing them. It's really cool. I should send it to you.
I would love that. So in my email, I'll also give you my address.
Oh yeah.
If you want to send something, it's a PO box up here because we don't have.
I won't flood you, but I do have a closet full of dead things that never did anything that should have done.
Yeah, my sister would love it. When he got the song on American Idol,
that's just a library. It's not a sink.
Yeah. When he got the song on American Idol in 2007, 8, whenever that was.
Reggie. Oh yeah, I played on the original version. I'm in his book that he wrote, like the whole story.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we got the song and he hadn't said anything what he wrote it for. And my sister said, that's an American Idol song to me before we even knew. And so she called him up because I still knew a lot of people at ABC, those kinds of things. And he goes, Beth, we wrote it for that.
Yeah.
It's in a contest. And she goes, what? And so
the year before
that ended up winning. So
Scott won. Jordan Sparks sang Scott Crepayne's song the year before.
Right. That's right. I remember.
The story I got was 19 Productions kind of told them people got really mad when they found out that they were friends and knew each other.
Yes.
And they scam and blah, blah, blah. So what did we do? We put a band together with both of them in it. I was like, hey man, I don't care. It's maybe, good news or bad news is good news. I don't know. People will be talking about it. Maybe it'll do good. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. He's a
Yep.
great guy. I saw him. I was there in September speaking at a conference.
Cool.
And one of the people that I was at the conference with, she's a friend of mine now, Robin Ruddy. She has a studio down on Music Row. And
Okay.
I told Reggie, and then Yolanda said, he hates networking. He's not going to come. And I said, just tell him to come. I want to see you guys. And I'm busy, I'm at this thing, but you guys should come here. And so they did. They ended up coming.
Oh,
And
nice.
they hung out with us for a little while, but anyway, that's the
Been a
last time I saw him, but
hot minute since he's been over
literally,
here.
pardon?
It's been a hot minute since he's been over here.
Yeah.
The whole pandemic thing. I haven't seen him since that, which is stupid because he lives 5 minutes from here.
Oh my gosh. I know how that is.
He's
Yeah,
one of the big people here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to send you a follow-up email. If there were things in there that we get off the phone and you go, oh my gosh, I forgot I was going to ask her this. Go ahead and ask me. We'll do a little bit of dialogue there, and then
No,
just keep me posted.
Yeah, my asks were pretty much, there was a whole social media side of what I've worked on for the last 6 months while I was working on it that I didn't tell you about, but that was just, I can tell you that in 5 seconds. I've been making friends with all these influencers and streamers and Disney people that have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers. And I've got them all on board. Like they're just waiting. Like, we want to promote it. We want to promote it. So
Really?
another thing that's been like, and that's easier said than done. Even if they have 200,000 followers, that everybody still has to click the thing or go there and follow it. And
Right.
I've learned the last 6 months how hard that is to get people to just hit a follow button or just hit.
Oh. That's why I don't like the marketing side as much. There's just so much to it.
Yeah.
And that is a place that like you said, you just get overwhelmed. But even the song went up Sunday, and I forgot to even tell my son that it was up already. So Monday when I saw him at the film, I'm like, oh, by the way, do you know the song's up there? Nobody's following it. Nobody knows it's there. I said, I forgot that I have to go do this stuff. And it's just like, I'm sure you too. It's so hard to find all the time to put into that.
Yeah.
So last night, as I'm going to sleep, I did a few Instagram posts. I'm also on TikTok. I wanted to ask you, do you know any TikTokers?
I think all the people I talk to also do that.
Yeah.
But I made a TikTok account. I got 6 followers. I don't do anything with it. I'm just like, this is weird to me. This is messy. I don't like.
I'm on TikTok. I left about a year ago, but I'm going back on because I have about 3,000, or I did last time I checked. But it's because I'm talking about the music industry, and there's people there that know nothing. So I start very basic, and I just tell them things.
Yeah.
And then they come to my things sometimes, and
Yeah, I don't have a ton of followers. I've been trying to work on that. I'm trying to get better with the stories and reels, and I was doing good. I was doing a lot of stuff for a minute there, and then the last 2 months I haven't done anything. But I did some boosts, and I'm just like, I'm learning really fast that people don't want to hear about it. They want to hear it. Like, so I'm like, until I have something up there with a link that someone can go to, I'm just like. So, and the same with all these people. Like, I don't have a ton of followers at all. I made a new account for this whole thing and all that. But they do, and a lot of the people that are on there, they're live streamers that are in the park all the time. They're people who travel all over the world. Like the people I was telling you that are going to all the parks right now all over the world. They're this family that, they have 200,000 YouTube followers. And I talked to him on a live stream one day, and he's like, you've got to let us know. We want to promote this. We want to promote this. I met with people out there when I was in LA, when I saw Rich last. I set up meetings with a lot of those influencer in the park people, and they're all just kind of waiting. So, and I know that small beans in the whole world, but I
no, but that can be a big deal if they put your song behind what they're doing, because people do
some
go
of our past, and I'm like, you can, but I don't have, they may pull it down. Because it's not in the Instagram, YouTube, it's not in all the libraries yet until I DistroKid it.
Right. Once you do, though, if you know those kind of people.
That's been the only game I've had while I was working on this. There were people that wanted me to live stream my process working on it. I'm like, I don't think I can. They're
Oh,
not my songs. So
I
see,
see.
all these things I just didn't know, but I assumed. I don't think you can do that.
Right. Probably
Maybe
not.
maybe live. They say performing live is okay if you're doing a cover.
So
But
yeah,
what happens when I just laid one track down and now I'm laying another? Well, that's not performing live. The part I just cut is not live. It was a minute ago. I- Like that's where my brain goes. I get so technical about it.
yeah.
And I'm like, if you think it's wrong, it probably is. Just don't do it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't want
Okay.
to shut down. So
Yeah. Well, it was wonderful getting to know you.
you
And
too.
we have very close mutual friends. So that's awesome. When Reggie came out here with Gary Chapman,
Oh yeah, they did that thing. Yeah.
yes, we picked them up at the airport and took them to the studio, my sister and I, because whenever he's out here, we just try to see him. So, that's
course.
that is actually the last time we saw him. I think it was January, February. I don't know. Anyway,
Well,
I
we'd
can't-
have to do the same. You
maybe
you
it
mean
was December because it was a Christmas thing. I don't know.
when's the last time you saw Rich Redkin?
Way too long.
See, next time I'm out, I'm gonna make that happen.
Okay. We can meet in person. That would be wonderful. I know Rich and I played in the funnest band we ever played together, even though,
That's
was
what
in-
he said.
yes, we had a blast and we actually ended up getting some of our songs on TV. So that's kind of how it all started for me. I was working at ABC at the time, handed
Yeah.
a CD to some music supervisor, and it started happening for that band. But the band had already broken up by then. We weren't doing live things anymore. So, but we all
Right.
had a blast. It was fun. So great to get to know you. And
You
I hope I helped in some way.
For sure. Well,
yeah.
now I know I just need to make up my mind 9 at one time or all at one time and do it. I've
Right.
just been waiting because I just didn't know if I should do it that or not.
Yeah.
You know.
I really feel that you should.
Yeah.
And then if somebody comes along and offers you something else,
Oh yeah, that's a great problem to have. I'll pull it down.
yeah, that's a great problem to have. True.
I'll
Okay.
start the process. Yeah. So yeah, how do I you send me an invoice?
I'll
or
send you an invoice. It'll probably be tonight, later, or tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it goes
Hour-
right through my website.
anything I'm good with whatever. So
Thank you so much. I
I'll
appreciate
I know what it's like.
time is money, isn't it?
Yep.
I know and now with the writer strike, my sister and I are like, what's going on? I don't know.
I know.
Sad, but we'll see. Everything I read is, even this morning, it's just like doom and gloom. Like,
What I understand that they're doing the right thing though.
they are doing the right thing, but
Yeah.
I know producers and people in the industry that I know people that know those guys, and they're just saying those guys do not think
Mhm.
they're gonna budge. So I don't know on that AI. AI is the biggest thing.
I
So
know. Oh man.
anyway, it is what it is. We've gotten through these before. So
True. That's
in
true.
the meantime, you get your stuff up there and let's see those influencers take you. I'm gonna go follow you. So let me know. Send me a link so I can follow and watch what's going on.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I would do that. Yeah. And send me your address and I'll send you some.
I will. That
Streaming.
sounds fun.
You can use posters, throw them away, or listen to them. I don't care.
Okay. We still can listen. So yeah. Okay.
Totally.
Nice to
Awesome.
meet you and talk to you, Ron.
You too, Don. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I'll send you the link to this as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That'll be a couple days at least.
That's fine.
I have to upload it with good internet. Okay.
If I
got
don't see 3-4 days, I'll bug you
Just-
again.
Bug me. I need to be reminded.
Oh, doing that, I'm like, oh,
No, you are not that person. Like I said, please don't worry. Okay.
I try to not be. All right.
Okay.
We'll talk.
Soon.
Thanks, Don.